Thank you, everybody. I'm going to bring Estefania out for a second. I think we're going to have a chat. I cannot follow this act, by the way. She's the toughest act to follow. I can only speak about the movie a little bit and tell you guys what it is that we're doing. Hi.
Hello?
How amazing was she?
I mean, that was amazing. Yeah. Thanks, Fabi, for making that happen.
Of course. Listen, her story needs to be heard far and wide.
You're amazing. And this reflects to a lot of everything that we've talked about, the power of networking, the power of friendship, the power of continue growing, the power of networking. And I love how did this happen? How did this happen? I love sharing personal stories so that you could find a way how to adapt them into your business. So I knew Fabiola from New York, from the party world, things like that. But we reconnected through a mutual friend, through Lauren Santo Domingo from Moda Brandy, which let's give a huge shout out because they've been a huge partners of Laughs.
Shout out to Moda. We love Lauren. We love Moda.
Moda is an amazing supporter since day one. They give the Pitch to Laughs winners an opportunity to have a trunk show, which it really becomes a before and after because so many other retailers get to discover them after that day. So Lauren invited Fabiola last year to come to Laughs with her. And Fabiola sat at, I'm not a judge ever for the Pitch to Laughs or Samantha. And she sat next to me. Lauren brought her with her. And she was there and she just kept telling me, she's like, this is insane. Yeah. She's like, this is unbelievable. This is amazing, the talent that is coming out. I mean,
when I saw the contestants, I was blown away. Like, I was blown away by the talent. I was blown away by the love the passion for their craft. And as a Latina, I felt so drawn to the idea of supporting Latin women and helping them find their path and find their way in this world. It was just so eye-opening for me. So I just asked you right away, how can I become involved? And Lauren brought me. She was, Lauren and I have been friends for too long. It'll age us if I tell you how long. But, she said, I think you're really going to love Laughs. You have to come. And when she brought me, she really understood that this is something that was my passion.
So we immediately connected we realized that we had a very similar purpose in life. And we immediately connected and we found ourselves speaking on a weekly basis about all the different ways how we want to change the world, right?
All the different ways that we want to change the world, big and small.
Big, really big.
Really big and small too.
So for all of you guys that don't know, Fabiola is a film producer. One of the movies that the first that is closest to your heart is Desert Dancer, which is about Iranian dancer. What made you
make that movie
into screen?
So Desert Dancer is a movie about a dancer in Iran. It's a human rights film, a dancer in Iran who isn't allowed to dance because in Iran it's prohibited to dance. And the truth is, I fell ass backwards into making films, and I loved it from the minute I started. I had a friend who was working on, am I allowed to say that? I said it. I had a friend who was working on a movie, Richard Raymond, and he said, this movie, I'm really passionate about it. It's a human rights film. But I don't have the money to hire a proper producer, and I don't have the money to, get the help I need. Can you help me? And of course, I started helping make the movie. I was like, wow, I love producing. I can't believe I didn't know that. And I really worked on it, and I produced that movie, and we put it out, and I'm still very, very proud of it. So that's how I got into it. I was already producing in fashion. I was doing fashion shows, and I was doing celebrity dressing, which is a type of production, really, and even photo shoots. But film production became my passion.
And then, I'm sure everyone in the audience has watched The First Monday in May, which is an unbelievable documentary.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And we've spoken in the last 2 days about persistence, resilience, determination. And you were able to produce a film that I'm sure it had a lot of challenges to get that yes.
It was impossible. The Metropolitan Museum, before our movie had never let cameras into the museum. The risk to an institution, that comes along with having cameras, like if something were to go wrong on camera, we would ruin their reputation. They just didn't have the trust. And so it took us a very, very long time to really get them to understand that we had only the best intentions for the institution and that we wanted only to show it in its best light. So it took about 3 years, 1,700 lawyers, and many iterations of the film to finally get it to where it got.
And it turned out quite perfect.
It did. It's
humongous congrats.
Thank you. One of the things that I really love about that movie, and one of the things why I like to make movies, is I believe in cultural expansion. Cultural expansion is my reason for doing everything I do. Why? Because culture is the cornerstone of civilization, of civility. When we have culture, we have a civilized society. And when you understand other people's points of views and you tell stories from other people's points of views, you start to understand your neighbor better. You start to understand your friend better. You start to understand your parents better. There's more understanding between people when they hear and see other stories. So for me, just to expand culture, to grow in understanding so that communities can be more compassionate towards each other in every aspect, is why I tell my stories. And the first Monday in May, I like to call it a Trojan horse, because really, everybody thinks this is glamorous movie about just celebrities and dresses and fancy everything. But at the end of the day, it's truly a portrait of a curator. And not a lot of people get to see what a curator does. And in fact, after I made the movie, I got so many emails from young people saying, I didn't even know what a curator was, and now I want to become one. So the process of learning through stories is so important generationally for young people to see what options are out there for them as well. Not only to understand, their community better, but also to understand what is out there in the world for them to pursue. Yeah.
And now
we're doing DVF.
And now you're doing DVF.
Yeah.
How much can you tell us a tiny bit?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you saw her. What you see is what you get, and I get to spend day in and day out with this wonderful, brilliant, incredible woman who inspires me every day, who taught me that fear is not an option, truly taught me that fear is not an option, where I learned that you choose fear. Every day you can choose to be afraid, because there's always something to be afraid about. Anything you try to do in your life, there's always something that you can be afraid of. And you have to just say, you know what, I'm going to acknowledge that fear, and I'm going to put it on the side, and I'm going to move forward. Like she said, just honoring life. So she taught me that, and that's changed the way I do everything. It's changed the way I do everything. Every day I wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm afraid of that, but that's okay. I'm going to do it anyway. So, what can I tell you about this movie? It's a blueprint to how to design your life. It's really how she did it and how she wants to share with the world how to do it yourself. That's it.
Thank you, Fabiola, and thank you for everything.
It's a feminist anthem. I want to say it's a feminist anthem because she's the ultimate feminist.
And thank you for everything that you do behind the scenes.
Thank you. I mean, what you've done here is like the best of the best. I mean, what you've done for the Latina community, what you've done for all of us, bringing all of us together. This is true storytelling. Thank you.